Hello, my name is Lisa Dillman. I'm from Applegate, Dillman Elder Law, and I have invited Aaron Lanteigne from Thrivent to this virtual cafe as if business would be usual, and I just invited him to a cup of coffee. And the reason I did this is because as I talk with my clients during this COVID-19 crisis, they're having a lot of questions with respect to financial issues. You know, my clients are in asset protection mode, they're in retirement mode, so they the same kind of 2 or 3 questions keep popping up. So I decided to call Aaron and see if he would join me to get some answers. So you okay with that, Aaron?
I am.
Okay. As you can imagine, the number one question that we are getting from our clients who are in the stock market is, hey, where's the bottom? Have we gotten there? What's the rebound trajectory look like?
So that's a great question. That's also a frequent question I'm getting from a lot of my clients. The bottom. Well, my crystal ball doesn't work, so I apologize for that. But I'll let you know that I do feel that we're closer to the bottom than we are the top, where we were just a month and a half ago. And that does present some opportunity there, but also still some uncertainty because we've had a great rally the majority of this week until yesterday and today. Or this past week anyway, until yesterday and today. So we're going to see a lot of volatility in the short term. Where the bottom is, I'm not sure. We don't have clarity as far as coming out of the end of the tunnel. We don't know where the light is yet. So the longer these restrictions go on, the longer we're going to have this type of volatility.
Sure. A lot of my clients who had lived through the 2008 hit had started to get nervous as the market was really doing well, and so they put themselves into a lot of cash positions. So it felt like that there, or at least colloquially, it felt like there was a lot of cash on the sidelines. Are you finding that to be a positive thing for investors?
There is definitely a different feel between this correction or possibly recession than the last financial crisis we went into. The previous one, actually, there wasn't a lot of cash on the sidelines in the midst of the crisis. There was a lot of cash on the sidelines afterward, but the biggest problem there is we had a lot of fundamentals in the economy were very poor. In a lot of areas, like the unemployment rate, for example, was much higher than it was just a few weeks ago. Obviously, we've had a lot of unemployment claims due to everybody being stuck in their homes. But the last time around, the financial institutions didn't have money to flee to safety. So not only did the equities markets plummet, but the bond markets plummeted as well. This time, the banks, the financial institutions are a lot better capitalized. Companies still have lots of cash on hand. That's a good thing. I think it gives us a better ability to weather the storm. There's obviously examples of businesses that won't be around, that won't survive this, just like any correction or recession. It is changing industry. Since the early 90s, we've been in this migration from retail brick and mortar to e-commerce. And when these things tend to happen, especially this one, since we're not allowed to really get out to a lot of brick and mortar, we're lurching forward more into e-commerce. So it is changing the dynamic of the economy and businesses. But just like, in all of history, some businesses will go and others will rise up. So it's just going to be another transformation, another evolution of our economy.
Sure, which means opportunity. Yes, there's fear. Yes, there's worry. But like you said, our clients live in a very innovative country. They're innovative people. Look at us today. I didn't think I'd be doing business on Zoom, but that's how I've met with people since this thing started breaking. So there's a lot of opportunity, I feel like. It's just a matter of making sure people can stay calm amidst the panic, I think. Would you advise your people now, or anybody really, to stay on the sideline, or what do I invest in? Give me your advice if I were your client.
Okay, what do I invest in? Well, that's a little broad of a question. It kind of depends on you, depends on your circumstance, depends on your timeline, where you're at in your career, and different life stages. Depends on your risk tolerance, your temperament. How much volatility are you willing to handle? I did a discussion a few days ago about some opportunities that exist in this time period, where there is an existence of some more aggressive growth or higher upside potential investments that carry lower, and I emphasize the word lower, not low, lower downside risk than they normally would in a regular market. So, in that sense, if up here is where we were a month ago, and this is where we are today, the bottom is probably somewhere in here. There's probably less to lose than there is to gain in the long term. So, there are some more traditionally aggressive investments that we may be able to get into without assuming as much downside risk as we would in a normal market. Now, I'm careful when I say that, because that doesn't mean there's not any. I want to emphasize that wholeheartedly. It just means that there's a lot more upside opportunity there that we can take advantage of.
So if there's depending, and you hit the nail on the head, every client that I talk to is different because of where they are in their life cycle. I have a lot of clients who are full bore asset protection and really are worried that that they don't have enough time to correct or to recoup from this correction. Talk a little bit about what a person in that stage of their life should be thinking about with respect to next steps. Should they go to cash position? What kind of thing, if my clients are in asset protection mode, what kind of mindset do they need to approach the financial markets with?
That's a fantastic question. That's one that I love working with my clients on, because at any stage of life, whether you're early or in the middle of your working career, whether you're at retirement, post-retirement, late into retirement, if we've done our investment allocating correctly, then we have allocated, not just diversified in the market as far as large cap, mid cap, small cap, et cetera, but we've also diversified according to time and according to taxes. So time is what we want to talk about here. Well, if I'm 70 years old, okay, and I'm retired, I may be taking some supplemental income from some of my investments, okay, but I'm not taking them from everything. And it makes sense that I may live to be 85, 90, 95, or older before I cross the finish line. So I think it also makes sense then that a portion of my assets need to be designed to live that long as well. So if a portion of my assets are longer term assets still, even though I'm already retired, I can have those be my growth investments, while the portion that I'm needing to withdraw from is my short term with investments with little or no risk, where I'm receiving my income. That way, when a downturn happens like what we're experiencing now, we don't have to get in a panic, and we can actually look at it as a time of opportunity to implement some tax strategy, to implement some reallocation investment strategy to take advantage of this volatility, for the medium and longer term parts of our portfolio.
Do you ever advise clients, you're a financial advisor, so a financial planner, so you would obviously want to keep people in the market or have financial investments, but do you ever look at their whole picture and think, wow, maybe some real estate would be a good opportunity here? Or how holistic should everybody be looking?
Well, that's another great question.
I'm a great questioner, apparently.
We do want to not just focus on our insurance and on our stocks and bonds and mutual funds. Okay, your financial landscape is much, much more vast than that. It incorporates your home, your vehicles, your property and casualty insurance, like homeowners and auto insurance. It incorporates everything that you have. If you have a vacation home, if you have rental properties, as you said, all of that is included in your financial landscape. Your savings in the bank, all of that, and all of that serves a purpose. So what we like to do is really build that picture, like to use a jigsaw puzzle analogy. The cover of the box of the jigsaw puzzle is the picture we want to build and design and plan for. If you don't have that picture, it's very difficult to put all those pieces together and fit them together properly. So yeah, I mean, we want to look at every bit of your financial landscape when giving guidance on what to do and how to position things. You don't want to have advice and guidance coming from all kinds of different directions, all kinds of different professionals, because even though they could be giving you good advice, there's nothing that really puts all that together, okay? Unless you have a plan that coordinates all the bits of advice you get from all the professionals in your life.
I'm glad to hear.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I'm glad to hear you say that, because I'm confronted with that all the time, that I can sit there and make an asset protection plan that's beautiful, but if my client's tax preparer doesn't know what I'm doing, or if their financial professional doesn't know what I'm doing, then it's all going to blow up. So I think that I'm so glad you put that message out there, because I know that many of my clients will be solicited, essentially, even from their own financial planner, who want to get them into either a stock holding or a bond holding or an annuity or insurance. And I guess my caution would be, just because I see it from the other side, the legal side, is there is no one lane that's going to fix all this. You probably need to sit down and evaluate the entire plate, the whole plate, the financial plate, the insurance plate, the legal plate, all of it, just to make sure that we're all systems ahead, I guess. It would be my advice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I totally agree. Totally agree. People can give great advice, but if it's not on the same plan or same page as the advice they're getting from other professionals in other areas, it can very well conflict. It can overlap. It can leave gaps. It can just be inefficient. But if we have an overall plan where we're all operating off that same roadmap, so to speak, then our guidance is going to be in following that plan and can dovetail nicely together.
Right. And nowadays, with virtual meetings, we can get anybody on your team.
You can. That's another thing that's come up from what we're dealing with here are increased efficiencies in a lot of areas. So that's a glass half full mentality, because I know that it's creating a lot of roadblocks and issues in a lot of other areas. But to look at the glass half full, there are a lot of efficiencies, like what we're doing right now. Before a month ago, we might have had to coordinate our calendars to meet in the same studio to do something like this. And now that we're forced into utilizing the technology available, we can do this in the comfort of our own homes.
Okay, so before we sign off, I want everybody to see how you play with your background. Go put us like in Greece or somewhere exciting.
Okay. Well, when I'm wanting to practice my social distancing, I take a trip. I go as far from people as I possibly can.
That'll do it.
When I go to Greece. Yeah, this was from a couple years ago, the Parthenon back there. Now this, here's the live from Wall Street, except right now, if we took that picture, this room would be completely empty. Everything's being done electronically. So, there's a little playing around with the backgrounds. My kids have had a lot of fun with that.
That's cool. Notice I'm not flipping any backgrounds because I still am honing my tech skills. You're way ahead of me, Aaron. So, all right. Well, thanks very much for joining me. I appreciate it, and I hope some of my clients get their questions answered. Thanks.
Very welcome.
All right. See you later.
All right. Have a great day.
Bye.